In a country brimful of lochs, this is a lake. No one quite knows why. And as I travel on it towards the island, there's always a great sense of anticipation. For here it is, Inchmahome Priory. A beautiful 13th century ruin amidst the trees. Sheltering at the foothills of the Trossachs, this tiny island seems an unlikely site for such a building. Perhaps that's why it feels such an intimate ruin. It was founded in 1238 as a home for an order of Augustinian canons. Stepping through this great west door into the nave with its crumbling tower and carved arches, one can sense the building's former magnificence. It's thought to have been built by the same mason as Dunblane Cathedral, and though it's been battered and broken down by centuries of neglect and Highland rain, its history and character still seeps from its stone. To walk around here is to feel as if one's back in the 15th century. Modern life hardly intrudes. In fact, history in the island stopped 400 years ago, when the last of the canons died out after the Reformation. But still imposing, though, is the great east window, the most sacred part of the church. Through the once-coloured glass, the sunlight would have filtered down onto the high altar and the benefactors' graves which lie in front of it. For hundreds of years, the church was also home to wonderful stone effigies, but they were open to the elements and deteriorated so badly that they had to be moved inside here to the chapter house, the only covered building on the island. Not all the effigies were taken from inside the church. This one was dug up after the Ministry of Works took over the priory in 1926. It's supposedly John Menteith who betrayed Wallace, Braveheart, to the English in 1303. The congregation couldn't forgive him, so buried his effigy beyond the church walls. Just to be here is to be at ease. It's an extraordinarily restful place. In a sense, it's still a sanctuary. Perhaps that was why Mary Queen of Scots was brought here in 1547. The 1540s were a particularly turbulent time. Henry VIII had declared a full-scale invasion of Scotland after the Scots had seen through his plan to marry his son to the infant Queen Mary and thus subjugate Scotland. He was so angry he declared, "Put all to fire and sword, burn Edinburgh town. Let there be perpetual memory of the vengeance of God lightened upon the Scots for their disobedience and falsehood." To me, Mary Queen of Scots is the most romantic woman in Scottish history, but also the most controversial. We'll never really know what was in her heart and in her head. What is undisputed is that when she was less than 5 years old, she was almost abandoned here. How must she have felt?